Hey there everybody, my name is Kat Bowser. I'm your resident fantasy therapist and welcome back to my channel. Those of you here for the first time, welcome. My name is Kat Bowser. I'm a licensed therapist. I'm also a writer working on my first novel. And on my channel I like to talk about what I consider to be the heart of writing, which is the characters, and the heart of the characters is their psychology. So that's the angle I like to take with pretty much everything I talk about on my channel. So for today, we are tackling a topic my husband has been so generous to help me with, and that is the prospect of wilderness survival in fiction. Alright guys, so the reason I want to talk about this particular topic within fiction is because, especially in sci-fi and fantasy, sometime or another they're going to wind up in a survival situation. It seems to happen every single time, especially if you're doing any kind of writing where there's a quest or journey of some kind. And correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of books get it wrong. Mm-hmm. So that's why I kind of want to do this topic, so we can tackle what is correct, because some books do get it correct, what they get wrong, and what is the proper way to talk about all these tactics on survival. So, for those of you who don't know, this is my husband, Stephen. And I have called him in because he is my resident wilderness expert. So why don't you just give them a little background on what you know about it?
I've been in, the outdoors. Always have. Went all the way through Cub Scouts, all the way through Boy Scouts, proud to be an Eagle. But always have loved the outdoors. I have more nights of camping than I can count. Longest I've ever gone is I've lived 2 months in a tent. So I would consider myself I wouldn't say a wilderness survival expert, but I know a lot. I've had a previous job working at a science camp teaching wilderness survival. I'm a registered wilderness survival merit badge counselor, so I know a few things.
You know your stuff, basically.
The reason I got interested in it, when I was about 16, my Boy Scout troop was camping in the northeast part of Arizona, just about 20 miles away from the New Mexico-Arizona border. And we had a family camping, not part of our group, but part of their own group. And it was a mother that had taken a bunch of neighborhood kids camping. And we're doing our thing, and the mother comes and is very frantic and says, this little 7-year-old boy is lost. If you know Arizona, you know Arizona weather. The northeast part of Arizona can be unpredictable. It's not uncommon to find snow up there, even into July, May, June, July. So, it was a really rainy day. The temperatures were hovering in the 40s to 50s. So, we knew that this was pretty important to get. So, a couple of adults went and got the rangers, the forest rangers. And we started out in Boy Scouts. We were never allowed to go out in groups of less than 4. And we kind of cordoned off with an adult and 4 boys and just started searching the immediate area. Very thick woods up there. This was around the place is called Big Lake. It was pouring. It was hailing. Like I said, the temperature was probably in the low 50s, high 40s. This little boy had on a clear plastic poncho, like a cheap garbage bag poncho, short sleeve shirt and shorts. So he was not, this family, or this group of kids and a mother was not prepared. She didn't even know his last name. And so, quickly we, were doing this search and rescue, and we probably had about 30, 40 people in our group working. And very quickly that night, the professional rescuers got up there, an Army helicopter, probably about 50 to 60 people. By the next day, we had about 250 people on quads, horseback. That night, unfortunately, it did snow. It rained. It hailed all night. The temperatures got down to the 20s or even lower with wind chill. Still did not find him the second day. His parents came up the second day, stayed at our camp. My mom really stayed with, their mother, and while they searched. On the third day, they did find him. They unfortunately did not find him alive. He had hidden under a tree root in a stream bed. He was only half a mile away from where we were. So this really hit us. It hit us hard because we had been there searching. We had a vested interest, and nobody wants to see a child die. Um, every year now, that family goes up there and passes out whistles. If he had had a whistle, we would have seen him. We must have walked right by him. We don't know if he was afraid because he thought he was in trouble. We don't know. But we walked by those areas, like I said. So that's what got me interested in wilderness survival, and we really closely saw the reasons or the consequences of what could happen when you don't, and this is June. I mean, this was June in Arizona. So, you know, ever since then, I always thought, well, if I get stuck in the woods, I'm not going to be that person that dies. I'm going to have enough knowledge to survive. Okay. So that's what really started my, interest in wilderness survival, and got the merit badge, did all the stuff for that, and then became an instructor later on as an adult, and then taught hundreds of kids at science camp the basics of survival, so.
Okay. Well, you're a good person to talk to about this then. So what I wanted to do is I just wanted to start with, I think I have 30 of them, just very basic stereotypes, tropes that we usually see in movies and books about survival. And I want you to call yay, nay, or half right. And then we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about some of my favorite, books and movies and stuff that portray survival, I think, correctly.
Okay. So, get out my list. First one. This one I have a star by. You don't have to tell people where you're going.
So if you've ever seen, what's that movie called?
127
hours. You will learn quickly that this is not true. We always, even as a huge group going camping, would always tell people where we were going. You want to tell people where you're going, what route you're going to take, how long you're going to be gone, the local ranger station number or the local sheriff's department number, when you should be back, when they expect you back, and if I'm not back by this date or time. Also, though, we always learned if you are going to be going off by yourself, which I would never recommend, leaving a note in your car in the parking lot, clearly visible, put it in your windshield, face up, with very dark writing, telling, whoever, hey, I'm going to this point, I'm taking this trail, I left at this time, I will be back at this time. If I'm not back by this time, please call this number. If that guy had done that, then he wouldn't have been in the trouble he was. But a lot of people forget to do that, but a responsible person will do all those things.
Okay. Oh, this one's one of my favorites. And I think this is true, particularly in fiction books. Survival will always occur in a big forest.
So, yeah, we learned survival in a bunch of different areas. That's why I love Arizona. Arizona's got every basic ecosystem. We did our survival camps in the desert because it's a lot more difficult to survive in the desert than it is in the woods. I always said if I had to survive in the woods, that's cake, because you have tons of building material, you have, water, it's could happen on the ocean, it could happen in the Arctic, it could happen in the desert, it could happen, even the desert, you think Sahara, but like here in Arizona, most of it's like low scrub brush, or the forest, or on top, it could happen anywhere. So, saying that you only get lost in the woods is not true at all.
And I actually would like to see more stories take survival past the woods, because that's very stereotypical.
Unfortunately, here in Arizona, most deaths occur when you're in the desert.
Which makes sense. Next one. If you're lost, follow the river.
So the first mantra that we always learned was hug a tree, stay in place. If you're to the point where you're lost, unless you're in a really dangerous situation, we were always taught stay put. Obviously, if you're like in a dry riverbed that could flash flood, okay, move out of there, move out of immediate danger. But what people tend to do when they get lost is they panic. and you know as like a healthcare person, when that adrenaline starts pumping, you start making stupid decisions. Like the intellectual part of your brain that says, "Hey, I'm the part that keeps you alive," turns off because your
Yep.
survival. And so you start doing that. Well, okay, if I follow a river, then well, yeah, until maybe that leads to a giant waterfall, and then you can't go anywhere. Then you have to head back the way you came, and you've lost energy, calories. So no, I mean, we'll talk about like depending on the situation, but normally if you get lost, stay put.
Okay. Eat snow if you need water.
So if you're in the snow, it's cold. Um, and snow is actually mostly air. I don't know the exact percentage, but it's mostly air. And what that will do is it'll give you very little water, but it will drop your inner core temperature and it will kill you very quickly. If you think about brain freeze, you're introducing snow into an environment that's 98.6 degrees. Your core is going to cool down very quickly. That cool blood is then going to go to your extremities and you're going to get cold very fast. Now, there are ways to like melt snow, like if you have a water bottle, putting it inside your jacket, filling it with snow. But you're going to see if you fill up a water bottle, it's only going to maybe be about a fourth of the way full of water from all that snow you packed in because there's so much air. So, no, please do not eat snow.
Okay. If you encounter a bear, you should play dead.
So, this depends on the bears. Here in
Okay.
Arizona, we have black bears. They're about the size of a large dog. Unfortunately, I've had a few run ins with these bears. In that case, you want to make yourself as big as possible and just yell. Usually they'll run away because they're very skittish. I've heard that you play dead with like grizzlies and like Kodiak bears. You're not going to outrun a bear ever. Even small bears can, run. I know it's over 20 miles an hour, faster than a human. And so, and if you climb a tree, even big bears can climb trees. So I mean, I would say that for maybe a grizzly bear, but like black bears and stuff, you just want to make your. And one way to avoid getting attacked by a bear is when you're hiking, we would actually have bells on our hiking sticks or our backpacks. They're called bear bells. And actually, if you're in the deep backwoods, you every once in a while will just yell. You'll hear people on like TV shows and stuff be like, "Hey bear, hey bear," And that's it sounds stupid, but you're letting the bears know that you're coming. They have very good hearing, very good sense of smell, and they're going to get out of your way. They don't want to eat you. They don't want to fight you. But what happens is people get attacked when they surprise a bear, especially like a mother bear with cubs, or if a bear is getting ready to den up for winter. They're very protective of their areas, but they're going to get up and get out of your way if they can hear you coming. So,
Okay. So
I would look up the bears in your area and see what the best idea is.
Okay. So maybe we call that one half true.
Well, like I was saying, like the Arizona black bear, it can be a carrion eater, so it may, want to try you.
Okay.
I mean, so.
Okay. Having a big fire is better than having a shelter.
So again, this is situational, but I would build a shelter before I built a fire at any time. A fire is not going to keep you dry. I mean, it may dry you off once you're wet, but if you're sitting next to a fire when it's raining or snowing, you're going to get really wet and you're going to get really covered in snow. So I would definitely build a shelter first, especially if I'm in a cold environment, like snow or like a cold forest or even the desert. I mean, people don't think about it, but during the winters here, the deserts, you can have 80, 90 degrees during the day and be below freezing at night. So you need something to kind of protect you from the elements. So I would definitely go shelter over fire.
Okay.
I think people want to build the fire because I think there's like that innate little cave person sitting inside of us, it's like, oh, fire, safety, but, and I'm not saying fire isn't important because it is, it's an important tool, but when it comes to survival, I would go shelter over fire.
Okay. And I'm not going to hit all of these because I think you're going to cover a lot of these as we talk, but I want to hit the more popular ones. So let's see. You can get water from a cactus.
So when we did our desert survival campouts, actually our scoutmaster put a faucet head into a barrel cactus. No, it did not. So Looney Tunes failed me again. And then we cut open the top of a barrel cactus, and it's full of this green jelly stuff. And that's the way the cactus stores the water. It does not store it like a little water spigot, you know. Um, Another myth is you can eat that stuff and get the water. Well, yes, you can eat it, but after you eat more than a couple tablespoons, you're going to be vomiting uncontrollably. So you're going to lose so much more water than you would if you what the water you gain from ingesting it. What you can do is you can use that jelly-like stuff in a water still. If you want to look that up, it's a pit. You put a little plastic cup or container in the middle. You dig a hole. You put that jelly stuff all around the cup. You put a piece of either garbage bag or clear plastic, a little rock in the middle. The sun heats all that up, and then it condenses on the plastic and drips into the cup. For one person, you have to make like 6 or 7 or 8 of these things, and you have to have the materials. In our survival kits, we always had some kind of plastic because it's the universal, you know. So,
Okay.
no, please don't eat a cactus. It will make you very sick.
Okay. In dire circumstances, you can drink your own urine and/or drink raw blood from animals.
Okay, so drinking raw blood, that's disgusting. Same thing, like if you have a nosebleed, you drink more than a couple tablespoons, you're going to get really sick to your stomach and you're going to vomit. And you're going to be losing more calories and losing more liquids then. So don't do that either. Drinking your own pee. I love this one show called Dual Survival. It was on Discovery Channel. And they had this one guy that's from Arizona. He's a survival expert, teaches classes in Arizona. He had a saying that said, somebody who drinks their pee in a survival situation survives despite it, not because of it. Because his partner in the show was drinking his own urine and they were having an argument. I've always learned never drink your own pee. It's first off, it's disgusting. That movie, 127 hours, he drinks his own urine. Your urine is the way your body gets rid of toxins, and it has a very high salt content. And so, I mean, we learned that if you ever have to really quench your thirst, like your lips are really drying off, you can take like a damp rag in it and dip it on your lips, or even swish it in your mouth and spit it out. But don't drink it because you're introducing all those toxins back into your body, and the hydration you're getting from it is almost nil. So,
Okay.
do not drink your own pee, and don't drink raw blood out of animals. You're asking for parasites.
Okay. And this is one I think I still see this in movies and books. If you get bit by a rattlesnake, you can cut and suck the poison out of the wound.
No, yeah. Old rattlesnake bite kits used to have a little razor blade in there and they had a syringe that you could. No, all that's going to do is it's going to draw blood to the area. It's going to introduce the venom into your mouth. So, no, don't do that. There's different first aid procedures you can do for it. You can hold pressure points to keep blood from going to that area. Definitely don't tie a tourniquet. That's just going to keep blood from getting to the appendage or wherever you are and can cause irreparable damage. Unfortunately, in that situation, really the only thing to do is to get to a medical center, and hopefully they have the antivenom.
Okay. Let's see.
But I guess I'm sorry. Going back to the rattlesnake thing, most snakes, though, like the bears, will avoid you. I've run into hundreds of rattlesnakes on my kind of adventures in Arizona. Never had a problem with one. You stop, identify where the rattle's coming from, back off, let it have its space. It doesn't want to eat you. It doesn't want to bite you. They're not malevolent creatures. They just want to live, and they see you as a threat. So,
okay, well that's why they warn you, right?
yeah, if they were mean, they would just bite you. But they're telling you, human, back off. You're too close.
Okay. I'm just gonna do a few more. This one again, very popular in movies and books. Rub 2 sticks together to make fire. You've done this, haven't you?
So yes, in the survival camps we did a bow drill. That's 2 pieces of wood rubbing together, extremely hard. Took us hours. You wanted to make a fire for your story.
I did.
And I gave you flint and steel and a prepared fire bundle, which is basically just dryer lint and dripped candle wax on it. And that's about as good as you can get for catching a spark, and it still took you 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So I that's one part I hate about in these movies and these shows. Now, obviously, some people are experts and they've done it over and over again thousands of times, so they're really good at it. the average person is not going to be able to, and that's one of those movies I love. Castaway.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Hanks's character gets so frustrated because he thinks he can do it because he's seen it in the movies,
Uh-huh.
and eventually he does, but with great struggle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one thing they don't tell you in the books and the movies, when I tried to make the fire with your prepared kit, the smoke got in my eyes and it hurt so bad. It's like they don't tell you this part. So okay, that's a good one. Let's see. Oh, this one. I'm sure you're gonna get on my case about this one. If I'm not thirsty, I don't need to drink water.
So one thing I'd always tell the kids at camp: if you're thirsty, you're already in the first stages of dehydration. You should be drinking water all the time. We always would, our leaders would always say, just every 10 minutes, 5 minutes, just take a sip. Just take a sip of water. So no, once you're thirsty, your body's already telling you I'm dehydrated. I'm already in the first stages of dehydration. And here in Arizona, that's a big deal. So, I mean, you can lose liters of water on even like a 3 or 4 mile hike.
Okay. Good to know.
On an average hike, like a 3 or 4 mile hike, I will consume about 4 liters of water. So,
Okay. And I'll do this as the last one for these myths, and then we'll get into the more precise stuff. A gun is the best survival tool.
so the best survival tool, like I was saying, is this. It's your brain, staying calm, you know. But if I had to make the choice between a gun and a knife every time. A gun is going to run out of ammunition very quickly, and a gun is good for shooting things, but I mean, you could possibly make fire with it. It's just not, the best survival tool you can have. A knife, you can make other tools. You can, a knife has 1,000,001 uses. Even when we go out every day, I'm carrying at least 2 knives on me. I have my everyday pocket knife that I wear. It's just a Gerber, and then I have a little credit card knife in my wallet. That's always, in survival, we talk about two is one is none. That has to do with, you want two of something because if one breaks.
Yep.
So, yeah, gun versus knife. And I'm a gun nut. I love my guns, but when I'm talking about wilderness survival, I will take knife over gun